Is Bill Belichick actually done with the New England Patriots after this season? These are some speculations that I've seen circling around the NFL, especially, when you see ESPN breaking their news, when you see, people talking about the Patriots. They're now 2-8 going into the bye week. I had them 4-6 going into the bye week. Are they on their Yeah, they're on their bye. They don't play again until November 26th. That's when um, Saints and Falcons play. I'll be at that game, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But I mean, yeah, Bill Belichick possibly being done with the Patriots after this season. And we've seen a lot of talk about that. We've seen some people say that Bill Belichick's next team is already decided. Robert Kraft is not very happy with Bill Belichick. And I don't even want to sit here and go through the numbers and the record and how the NFL, or excuse me, how the offense and defense has been since Tom Brady left, because we know as of right now, Tom Brady is winning. He has won the divorce. The argument is swinging in his favor. And when you go and look at how the Patriots are performing this year, they have the second worst offense in the NFL at 14 points per game. Only the New York Giants are worst with 11.8. So we'll give them 12. When you go look at the defensive stats on the year for the New England Patriots, I mean, still middle of the pack, giving up 326.5 yards per game. But it's the points that I like to take a look at the most. And the New England Patriots are the 23rd offense. I had to make sure that was correct. I didn't feel like it was right in my notes for some reason. They're the 23rd ranked offense in the NFL, scoring 24 points per game. Now, ironically enough, excuse me, they're the 23rd ranked defense in the NFL, excuse me, in terms of points per game. Now their defense is better than the Chargers, it's better than the Dolphins, it's better than the Commanders, the Broncos, which is no shock. But the Patriots are a defensive minded culture. So in that aspect, you would want, you hope that they're continuing to put forward, good defensive outings. And just with that defensive culture, with Bill Belichick being that defensive minded head coach. But we know that the Patriots have been lost, one, ever since Tom Brady left, but two, ever since Mac Jones's rookie year, which was their best year after Tom Brady left. They go 10-7 record under Mac Jones. He figures out just a couple weeks before the season that they're cutting Cam Newton, moving on from him. They want Mac Jones as a starter. And they make the playoffs with a 10-7 record. Unfortunately, get blown out by the Buffalo Bills 51-10 in that playoff game. And it felt like things were never the same since. Y'all have heard me talk about how Bill Belichick has not drafted any reputable players within the last decade. One of them was a punt returner, one of them was a punter, and another was a punt returner in terms of all pros or Pro Bowls that Bill Belichick has actually been responsible for drafting. This offense has been stale, uninteresting, and just downright incapable of scoring and making good ball games. Actually having good outings, being competitive, scoring 21 points, 4 points, 28 points, 31 points like you need to in the NFL. I feel like the bare minimum in today's league, you got to be able to score 3 touchdowns and kick a field goal. 24 points is the minimum. That's what you have to put up in this league if you want to hang with some of the offensive juggernauts and really just understand how offensive this league is really becoming. They are outmatched by almost everyone in the NFL talking about the Patriots. Very minimal talent, one of the most bare rosters in the league. But it's not a surprise to me. They were projected at 7.5 wins coming into the year. I had them going 5-12. They're projected to do worse than that, possibly. They are a 2-8 football team holding one of the top picks in the NFL draft. I had them 4-6 in my preseason predictions going into the bye week, but they are 2 games worse than that at the 2-8 record. And Bill Belichick's always had a lot on his plate, being the GM, being the head coach, but it's time to let that go. And more importantly, it's more than likely time to move on from Bill Belichick. But I understand you might want to say, well, Adam, how the hell can they do that? He won 6 Super Bowls. This franchise is not this franchise without Bill B and Tom Brady. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Did he get to coach the greatest player of all time in football history in Tom Brady? Yes, no question about that. But Bill Belichick is a defensive minded head coach that can't build a competitive roster post the Tom Brady era, is not drafting very well. And with him also having it on his plate of being a GM, it's not a recipe for success. It's not, because you have to be able to draft and develop and find that type of talent on the offensive side of the ball, but more importantly on the defensive side of the ball as well. And yeah, I like the Christian Gonzalez pick. That's great. But like, where's the other talent? I mean, yeah, there's Ramondre Stevenson. We got Ezekiel Elliott. Not we. They've got Ezekiel Elliott. Um, actually, hell, I have their depth chart pulled up here. I was just naming off a few names. There's Devon Gottschall. There's Dietrich Wise. But I mean, hell, there's Kyle Duggar. There's a Jabril Peppers. But like, are those really guys that are high levels of talent that are going to get the Patriots to where they want to go? I mean, there's Devontae Parker, Keishon Boutte, Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster. Maybe you can give some credit to Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki, but it's like, damn, where is the offensive sustenance to this team? Where's the substance of this football team? Where's the offensive presence of this football team under Bill Belichick? And to make matters even worse, and to really show you that he's got his hands full, the fact that he benched Mac Jones for the third time this year, he's lost all confidence in him. He knows that Mac Jones is not his guy. And I still find it insane to this day that people are like, oh, is Mac Jones the next Tom Brady? Don't kid yourself. Do not kid yourself in that aspect, because he's not. I get it. He might look like him. He might throw like him. No, whatever. First of all, no and no. But second of all, it's not even close. Don't try to compare a GOAT to a guy that was great at Alabama and yes, was taken in the first round. When when Bill drafted Mac Jones, I was like, okay, this could be decent. Cam Newton was still in at the time, and then boom, we figured out that Mac Jones is in. But Mac Jones played well. He did. 10-7 record. He also had talent around him too. And now at this point in time, he does not have a great defense behind him, which once was in New England under Bill Belichick's watch. He does not have good offensive talent or players with him. Never necessarily been the highest pedigree in New England. It was just the coaching and the schemes, and the players just knew the Patriot way there. They knew what was going to happen. But to show you that they are so deprived talent-wise and offensively, and the fans are so starved, the fact that they've called for Malik Cunningham, a wide receiver, to play quarterback shows how bored they are and how deprived of talent, not bored, how deprived of talent they are more than anything. You saw some Malik Cunningham in the preseason, and he was pretty shifty. He had a lot of electricity to him. He looked great in the couple of snaps that he had in the multiple positions that he did, and we've seen Malik Cunningham playing, over the course of this season. But to just encapsulate and know that Bill Belichick now has his fans of that franchise, who is the most decorated in NFL history, or tied with the Steelers, of course, is calling for a wide receiver to be their quarterback, because that's the only sense of juice or electricity that they're going to have on this team. They've got to go offensive minded. They have to go offensive minded at the head coaching position. They have to take a look at a Ben Johnson, a Frank Smith, an Eric Bieniemy, an offensive coordinator from a highly producing offense in the NFL. Hell, no. God, no, not Matt Nagy. I'm over here thinking about the Chiefs. Hell no, not Matt Nagy. But he's doing good next to Andy Reid. I'll give him that credit. No question about that. I'm not gonna take away from Matt Nagy's success with the Chiefs this year, because I'm sure he's thoroughly enjoying what's happening over there in Kansas City. But it's got to be an offensive minded head coach. And I know I say that for a lot of teams, but the NFL's not. Excuse me. The NFL is hard, but the recipe is simple. You just have to find the recipe in said coaches and players. Go get you a star quarterback and chase greatness within the first 3 years, because after you pay him, you're going to be strapped for cash. Get you an offensive minded head coach and go get you a top pass rusher. And more times than not, you're probably going to be competing for the NFL playoffs. And that's all the Patriots have to do. And I understand Bill Belichick, been there for a long time, built this into a dynasty. And he's also just 20 wins or so away from being the winningest head coach in history. And, I really ask, would someone go out and hire a 70-plus-year-old Bill Belichick to come in and be their head coach? Would he mesh well with young players? Would he be able to have that toolage over, let's just speak hypothetically, a Josh Allen, a Jalen Hurts, a Tua, a Burrow? I don't think so. I don't know if those guys are as successful underneath him. And again, I've got a lot of respect for Bill. We know what he's been capable of in the NFL. But times move past him. You're going to eventually have to start taking a look at Mike Tomlin when we talk about some of these oldie goldies in the league. I even said it as a Saints fan a couple years ago. You got to eventually start taking a look at Sean Payton when you just keep having these things sputter out in front of you. Bill Belichick's been good for a long time, but now it's been a lot of mediocrity and average since Brady's left. Mike Tomlin's been good in his time, but it's been a lot of 8-8, 9-8, 8-9 seasons. Yeah, you go 11-0, you get in the playoffs, but you get wiped in the first round. And I get it. You've been to a couple Super Bowls, won a couple Super Bowls. I understand that. But the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league because the league changes so quick. I mean, what, every 2 years, you feel like there's a team coming out of the woodworks that you didn't expect. The Lions this year, the Texans this year, the Bengals a couple years ago. It's all about what have you done for me lately? And with those teams getting their spotlight, it's because of what they've done lately. And that is what Bill's going to have to answer to as the Patriots continue to go on through the Bill Belichick era. I don't think anyone would hire Bill. And I personally don't even think that Bill would even want to coach for another team because of what he built in New England. Now, yes, we know he got fired by the Browns. We understand that he's chasing Don Shula for over 320 wins in his career. But will Bill be able to hit that with the way that he's got his mental locked in on the NFL game?